do what I do.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the broadcast. Shout out to my man, Mr. 43TX. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, baby? Uncle D had to get out of that backyard, but it is hot back there. But I got some more broadcasts coming. What's up, everybody? Look, man, let me make this plain and from the outset. We are not all the same, and we were never all in this together. Okay, for too long, foundational Black Americans, those of us whose ancestors were dragged here in chains, whose blood watered the soil of this nation, who fought every inch for the rights of others, rights that they now casually enjoy, have been lumped into a vague, generic category of Black. Okay, we'll call that flat blackness. All right, that's what we've been lumped into. All right, and in that category, we've been robbed, we've been silenced, we've been erased, we've been replaced, but not anymore. No, sir. Today we draw a line. This isn't about hate. This is about history. This isn't about division. This is about dignity. And it's about making sure that what belongs to us doesn't keep getting handed out to those who didn't suffer with us, fight beside us, or build with us. While our ancestors were picking cotton and chopping tobacco and cutting sugar cane in Louisiana, fighting Jim Crow and marching through tear gas for civil rights, and others were watching from the sidelines, or worse, they were collaborating with the same colonizers who crushed us. And now they want to show up late to the table, eat off the plate, a plate they didn't help prepare. They want access to all of the different rights that we fought, including minority contracts, whatever diversity slots are left, and crazy talk, they want reparations. Just think about that. But with no lineage, no loyalty, and no respect. And that ends here. Delineation is not division. It's protection. It's strategy. It's survival. Because the next time they say Black, we're going to ask, which Black? And if you can't trace your roots back to American slavery and beyond, actually, because our people pre-existed slavery, okay? If you can't trace your roots back to a time before 1860, then you don't get to eat off our name or our pain or our legacy. We are foundational Black Americans, Africans who are enslaved in the United States, but we're not African. We're not genetically identical to the sub-Saharan Africans and the Africans either from the West Coast or Central Africans. It's racial because we have Black people who light bright, darn near white, and we also have Black Americans who are pitch black and black as midnight. Nevertheless, what we're talking about are those whose ancestors built this country through centuries of unpaid labor and endured the brutality of slavery, survived Reconstruction, and Jim Crow. That we survived redlining, mass incarceration, and every form of oppression unique to the American experience. Okay, here's what FBA means. Okay, it's more than it's more. It's not a. It's FBA is not a nationality. It's a lineage. It includes recent people who can trace their roots back to African Americans here in the United States. Because the truth is there are some Black people who've moved, but they're still foundational Black Americans. You understand? And so when we talk about FBA, then we don't want to be African American because that's a catch-all phrase. You see? That includes all Black people in America who came from Africa. It also includes Black immigrants, you see? The other thing is Black is more of a racial designation, and it includes anybody of African ancestry, whereas foundational Black American is very lineage specific. It's a designation, and only those whose ancestors were enslaved in the U.S. will fall into that category. So this delineation is perfectly suitable for us. And again, this is not about hate. It's about clarity. It's about justice. It's about delineation. And it's so that people can't come in and take advantage of what we've done. Um, so we're not, what it says is we're not immigrants. It says we are the foundation. It says we're owed a specific debt. We don't let others hijack our claim. So when people ask what is FBA, the answer is FBA is the lineage of people who built the United States from the ground up, under chains, under whips, and under constant attack, and yet survived and created, resisted, and continue to fight for justice in our own name. And that fight is not transferable. And it also includes those who predated the Constitution of the United States, who predated this country's founding. It includes free Black people who were in this country and free even before slavery, but they intermix. Now, the idea that Black Americans are indigenous to the Americas because we're Native American is not supported by the most credible archaeological and genetic evidence, okay? We're not Indians. Now, I know there's a lot of people who say we are, and I look at some of the examples. For instance, there's this example of the Luzia woman, okay? That was one of the oldest human skeletons found in South America, and it dated back to 11,500 when it was first discovered in Brazil in 1975. The Luzia skull appeared to resemble features more commonly associated with Australo-Malaysian or African populations. And this led some to speculate that she might be a person of, it was allegedly the Black evidence of the Black presence in America, but this interpretation was flawed, okay? In 2018, DNA analysis confirmed that Luzia and others remains from this region of Brazil were genetically indistinguishable from the modern Native Americans. In other words, she was not an African per se, but part of the same earlier migration from the Northeast Asians that populated the Americas, okay? Now, here's the thing. So if Luzia wasn't African, then there's what? That didn't produce credible evidence that sub-Saharan Africans were here 10,000 years ago, not in that form. The truth is, okay, and I want you all to listen to me because I'm here to talk and I'm here to educate you. The truth is, more recent, even more remarkable African people did reach the Americas before Columbus, but not 10,000 years ago. They came within the last 1,000 years, at least, through deliberate exploration and seafaring, not some prehistoric migration. We came over here in luxury ships. You understand what I'm saying? We came over here as explorers. Look at Emperor Abu Bakari II of Mali in 14th century, centuries before Columbus. Abu Bakari is said to have abdicated his throne, which means he gave it up, and he launched a massive naval expedition westward across the Atlantic Ocean. And according to Arab historians like Al-Amuri, he was convinced that there was lands beyond the sea, and he sent hundreds of ships to explore. And though most mainstream historians downplay the success of the voyage, oral traditions and African navigational knowledge of the transatlantic currents, they all support the possibility that some African explorers did reach the Americas. And in fact, early European explorers and chroniclers, including Christopher Columbus, reported encountering dark-skinned people and African-style goods in the Caribbean and Central America. And this makes more sense, okay? This makes more sense. Rather than being Native Americans in the archaeological sense like Lucia and the Clovis people, the African presence in the Americas before 1492 likely came from advanced African civilizations like Mali and intentionally traveled west. So when some of my Black American brothers say we were already here, the most accurate explanation is not that we were one of the first, we walked over here from Siberia, but that our African ancestors were seafarers, that they were literate, and that they were empire building people who traveled here within the past millennium. This narrative doesn't erase our African heritage. It reinforces it by showing that we come from bold explorers and rulers, not just captives of the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, in short, my estimation is that this Luzia, Africa, that a lot of people depend on, she wasn't African. And Native Americans, in the sense that we know as Indians, are genetically linked to their Asian ancestors. African contact with the Americans happened later through deliberate voyages like those of Abu Bakari II. And this means we're not indigenous because we're Native Americans. We're here because Africans came here on purpose long before European colonialization. And this distinction matters because it helps us to build a more accurate, empowering narrative rooted in African achievement, not myth or misinformation. Okay? Now, why we reject the term African American now. All right. You guys hit the #1 button if you can hear me. And if you learn something, I should earn something. Okay. I'm going to explain to you. I want to deal with something because many of you are too young to understand why we came up with the term African American. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D. People wash their ass in the tub, Kamala Harris.
You would tune in to Uncle D. Black man talk, pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something, then you earn something. Let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. There's a king here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Attorney Spurling, this ain't pearly, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shooting, give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Holly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, vote and earn. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you've been served, gotta notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I'll do what I do.
Somebody need to whip your ass.
Get up and whip him, Sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Floby and cut your own damn hair from now on.